Not so hard.
All right, can we go ahead and
It's an
stand for the
101.
Pledge of Allegiance?
That's right.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Reverend Matisse, can you call the roll?
Okay, Dr. Randalls. Ms. Slade,
Present.
Dr. Felb,
Present.
Dr. Flores,
Present.
Mr. LeGrand,
Yes.
Matias, yes, Pastor Moody,
Present.
Mr. Ross,
Present.
President Baker.
Here. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Support.
Everybody support, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, let's move on to celebrations.
Thank you, President Baker and members of the board. I'd like to ask John Himholt to come forward, please.
Madam Superintendent, Dr. Baker, members of the board, it's a pleasure to be here tonight to bring forward this celebration. We have several people here, and I'll turn it over to Stephanie in a heartbeat, but I'm going to put Stephanie a little bit on the spot, as she deserves a little bit of her own celebration, as I just learned that the School Community Health Alliance named you, you received a leadership award in the last couple of weeks, so congratulations on that. Stephanie, why don't you tee it up and tell us what we're here to celebrate?
This is really a fun thing to be able to do with you tonight. Many of you know that if someone experiences a cardiac emergency, that you just have minutes or seconds to respond. And it's really important that we're ready with people that are trained, with the equipment that they need to respond to those trainings. And if you've ever been in that situation, and as an old emergency room nurse, we just know that it helps to have practiced it once or twice before you do it. So I am so thankful that since 1996, Grand Rapids Public Schools has had medical emergency response teams in our schools that are CPR and first aid trained and ready to respond to emergencies, and also have practiced a drill annually. So we determine what mistakes we made practicing it, not when somebody really needs to have something happen. The challenge for us has been that we've been working hard to obtain AEDs, and we're so grateful to have this opportunity with Amway to now be able to brag more and say that we have AEDs now in all of our schools in Grand Rapids Public Schools. And so I can with confidence say that we are ready for those emergencies. I want to introduce to you Kevin McGraw. He's passionate about this. And the organization that he works, or that he's formed and he's the director of, is called the School Emergency Response Coalition. And he has worked with Rachel to develop this opportunity, not only to bring the AEDs into schools, but some training into our kids. And that's the icing on the cake, that our children need this training also. So, first of all, I'd like for Kevin and Rachel to talk a little bit about the partnership and what that means to us, the gift.
Well, Kevin has helped me for probably a couple years now with our district CPR trainings, because we train close to 500 of our staff members every year in CPR and AED, and he has helped with those large group trainings at times so we can cover big groups. So he actually approached me with this idea of training some students, and I thought, hey, that's a great idea. We do that at Central, I know, and so let's launch it in another high school. So it was kind of his brainchild, and we've been working together on it since then. And Ottawa Hills holds a special place in my heart because I was the nurse there for many years. So that's kind of how they got chosen for this pilot program. And we're going to train all the 9th graders in a couple weeks in CPR and AED. So
Nice.
yeah, we're excited about it.
Thank you. I'm Kevin McGraw. I work at Amway Protection Services. I've been there 36 years. My life passion is helping others and making a difference in their life. With the School Emergency Response Coalition, we're going to reach out to the Ottawa Hills freshman class, give them CPR AED training, the American Heart Association, Heart Saver. In addition to that, we're going to bring in the Grand Rapids Police, Grand Rapids Fire, and AMR paramedics and spend about 2 weeks with the kids to give them a career path to consider. And the training they receive at Ottawa Hills, they can take back home to their family, their community, or place of worship. If there's a medical emergency, they're going to be much better trained and equipped to handle that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank
Excuse
you.
me, and also, that also is in Spanish, right? It can,
It can be programmed for
yeah,
Spanish.
it can go into different languages, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just to show the partnership
Nice.
between
Wonderful.
AMR, Grand Rapids Public Schools, Grand Rapids Fire, Grand Rapids Police, and Amway Corporation. Our
Awesome.
Community Relations Department's been very supportive and helpful in getting me and this program off the ground, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Baker. I'd like to ask Ron Gorman to come forward, please. Dr. Baker and members of the board, we would like to share that one of my cabinet members, Ron Gorman, is now Dr. Ronald
Right.
Gorman.
Why is she calling me?
They all hate to get called.
I thought I forgot something.
I
but see,
know. You looked it too.
I can see you scrambling.
We're not done yet.
Scrambling. Good job. No, congratulations,
Boss, I
Ron.
appreciate it. Wait, I have a question. Could you summarize your dissertation for us this evening? I absolutely.
Ron,
I'm.
Congratulations.
That was good.
All right.
course.
Next item on the agenda, public comment on board agenda items only. Are there any public comment for board agenda items?
There are none.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the secretary's report.
I have no report this evening.
All right. Superintendent's report.
Dr. Baker and members of the board, I'd like to ask John Himholt to come forward. No, you don't. You shouldn't. This is the get out to vote.
You better be prepared.
That's right. This is a countdown.
Yeah, this is it. Campaign to Election Day.
That's it.
We have comprehensive get out the vote. You know, that's one thing that we as a district, well, we cannot share with our constituents how or suggest how they should vote. We can say get out and vote. And so we did flyers, we've done newsletters, we've done automated phone calls, emails, social media. And so it's been a big push. The weather is cooperating tomorrow. It's going to be about 70 degrees. I know it was a very comprehensive work over the weekend. So special thanks to everyone who was out there in their volunteer capacity.
Thank you, John.
All right, thanks.
We do have one action item. Can I get,
Motion for approval of the United Way donation.
Support.
thank you. Any discussion?
So, Dr. Baker and members of the board, I would like to ask approval for the Heart of West Michigan, the donation of elementary books for our Schools of Hope sites. So, nice donation of books from our partners.
And we certainly appreciate that. Any?
Absolutely. Wonderful.
We need to vote.
Yep. Go ahead, call it.
Okay. Dr. Randalls, Ms. Slade,
Yes.
Dr. Feld,
Yes.
Dr. Flores,
Yes.
Mr. LeGrand,
Yes.
Reverend Matias, yes. Pastor Moody,
Yes.
Mr. Ross,
Yes.
President Baker.
Yes.
Okay,
All
passed.
right. Motion passes.
Dr. Baker, can I just share that they donated 2,640 books. I mean, it's not just a few books, but 2,000 books, and we so appreciate what United Way is doing to partner with us for our students.
Anybody need that
That's
information
wonderful.
before we voted?
Oh, I saw it in the packet. It's fantastic.
I'd
That's
like for
awesome.
everyone else to know. It's a
Awesome
lot of
Yes,
programs,
very important.
awesome
That's
books.
important.
Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved?
Support?
I would like to pull the legislative committee minutes.
The legislative minutes?
Yes.
Okay. So you want to amend that motion?
I'd like to amend my motion to approve the consent agenda less the legislative minutes.
Okay, can I get a second for that?
Second.
Okay, so this is a vote on approving the consent agenda minus the minutes for the legislative committee.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Randalls, Ms. Slade,
Yes.
Dr. Falb,
Yes.
Dr. Flores,
No.
Mr. LeGrand.
Abstain.
Sustained?
I'm abstaining. I have a potential conflict. My understanding is that we have a student reinstatement, and I represent that student, and so I'm abstaining.
We should have pulled that item from the consent agenda. Someone should have
We still
requested that.
can.
Can we go ahead and
Back up?
back up? Yeah, let's back
Sure.
up.
Let's pull that off the agenda, too, then.
I'll change my motion to approve the consent agenda minus the minutes of the legislative committee and the
Student reinstatement?
student reinstatements.
Is there any other issue that we should consider? Okay. All right, so this new
This is a
vote,
good-
this is for the consent agenda grouping minus the legislative minutes and the student reinstatements. Okay, so
Okay.
start all over, yeah.
Okay, Dr. Randalls, Ms. Slade,
Yes.
Dr. Falb,
Yes.
Dr. Flores,
No.
Mr. LeGrand,
Yes.
Reverend Matias, yes. Pastor Moody,
Yes.
Mr. Ross,
Yes.
President Baker.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, it passes.
So can I get a motion for the approval of the legislative committee minutes so we can discuss that?
Motion to approve the legislative committee minutes.
Second,
Second.
is there a problem with the minutes?
Nothing exciting, just shows that I was absent and I wasn't. That's all.
So is there a way to reflect it that, okay, and we can, so with the change in the minutes to the fact that Mr. Ross was there, and I'm sure it was a much more engaging meeting as a result of that. Call the roll for the legislative minutes.
Okay, Dr. Randalls, Ms. Slade,
Yes.
Dr. Falb,
Yes.
Dr. Flores,
Yes.
Mr. LeGrand,
Yes.
Reverend Matias, yes. Pastor Moody,
Yes.
Mr. Ross,
Yes.
President Baker.
Yes.
Move approval for the student reinstatement.
Support.
Reports,
Okay.
any discussion on that?
I'd like to, again, underscore the importance of the message that we send to our staff, to our community, to our students, when we allow students that have had very severe actions of impropriety, whether they be attacking, assaulting staff members or other students in any way, including criminal sexual conduct. I think that we really need to consider that as of the utmost importance in this vote, the message that we send to our community. So I urge you to, I guess, reconsider your support for reinstatement at this time. I asked in our previous session that we consider blocking students from returning to the school where they had that problem, where they actually broke our rules. We have to be about zero tolerance. I understand we need to be compassionate, but at the same time, we have culture. We have a culture, I think, that is overtaking our society, a culture that is bent on thuggery, and I think that we need to send the proper message. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I don't know, I guess I'll just say I definitely support the spirit of what Dr. Flores is offering, and I too would like to explore the things that more positively impact our school climates. But as far as right now, though, I still intend to allow this to move forward. But I'm with you, though, in general. I think we should discuss what those options might be.
I think it's also important to the fact that the student has already met the obligations and the requirements that he has gone through. I think that's important. And I do agree that perhaps we should not put a student back into a particular school where their assault has taken place. But I think the school is intelligent enough not to do that. I think all of that has been taken into consideration. The young man has been out of school for a year, to my understanding. Why should we hold him back? I do believe in zero tolerance, but I also believe that zero tolerance can be misconstrued as well.
To respond to the idea of cultural trends of thuggery, there has been a cultural trend over the last 15 years that's created zero tolerance policies that's led to many children being disciplined permanently in ways that harm them and the education and that society is paying for. And there's also been there had been a trend of treating children as if they were adults and they should be permanently disciplined. And in this situation, we were choosing to permanently discipline an 11-year-old child after spending a year meeting conditions that were set forth by this school district. And that this school district asked this child and his family, his or her family, to comply with the conditions to be brought back to the district. And then this school district should stand by the efforts meant to rehabilitate a child. And that and fortunately, the rest of society is beginning to decide that maybe we shouldn't treat 10-year-olds like they were full-grown adults and needed to be put away forever. And in this case, this society will pay for this if we don't let this child back into school. Yes.
I'd like to support Dr. Baker in that. I find that we have children who at least need another chance. This young person has already spent a year meeting all the conditions, as you've noted, all the conditions that we've outlined, and I think it is behooved us as civilized adults to allow these children to remain in school, to come back to their school, whichever school we choose they need to go back to, and realize that we're talking about young people who absolutely need education, and that's what we're here for. And we're going to make sure that we do that safely, but we need to make sure that kids know what's happening, met the consequences of their action, and that they can recover from that. And that's critical, I think, for our children to learn in this society.
I can also, I do think I agree with Pastor Moody that this board has passed policy that allows a student to be restored. Restored also means forgiven, and I think we have to err on that side, if any, including with our teaching staff. We want our teaching staff to certainly be safe, but we also want student and staff to be able to address those issues and then move forward, as opposed to a permanent scar in that sense that can't be restored, so to speak. So it's really critical that as a district we speak to those issues, that we can actually restore a person back into our community, in our school community at that.
I want to express my sense after serving on this board for 6 years, how seriously past administration and this current administration especially takes the safety of our children. And so I'm confident that if the administration has recommended reinstatement of this child, they have only done so knowing that the safety of our children are not in question in any way. So I'm confident in supporting this reinstatement.
And let's be careful using the word thuggerish. It's not appropriate to call little children thuggerish or thugs. I would consider thugs more of an adult mindset who know better. Our children, under some cultural conditions, all of them, have difference in their lifestyles, but that doesn't mean that they're thugs.
Dr. Flores?
I guess I'd like to respond to that, since I use the term thuggery. I do so because just this week we had two videos go viral of situations in this country where teachers were assaulted by students in a thug-like manner. And the culture of thuggery is, in fact, alive and well and promoted in a subculture within the United States. I certainly am not blind to that, and I would suggest that we do focus on what we can do to try to reverse that trend. There is a prevalence of attacks on staff in our country, and by us looking at this and saying, okay, this is one student, but this isn't just one student. Since I've been on the board, we've had at least 3 or 4 that I recall of students that we've reinstated for assaults on staff. I think that we really need to look internally at what our policies are. And I think that the suggestion of that student not returning to that host school where the action occurred, I think is certainly a sound request of this board and our administration. And we need policy for future situations like this that suggest that our students should not be allowed back to that. I believe in restorative justice, I believe in the second chance, but I think that we have to send a message here, especially when we see the increase of the number of incidents across our country and here in our community. So,
Okay, let's vote.
Okay. Dr. Randalls, Ms. Slade,
Yes?
Dr. Felb,
Yes.
Dr. Flores,
no.
Mr. LeGrand,
Yes.
Reverend Matias, yes. Pastor Moody,
Yes.
Mr. Ross,
Yes.
President Baker.
Yes. Discussion items. At the last board meeting, we discussed that the NSBA Advocacy Institute, formerly known as FRN, in Washington, D.C., is upcoming, and we did ask people to consider whether or not they are interested in coming. So I just want to get a poll of anyone that is interested in attending, and to determine we should only have probably no more than 4 attend. We don't need to have 4, but we shouldn't have more than 4. So has anyone thought through about whether or not they'd like to attend?
As I expressed at the last meeting,
Dr.
I would like
Falb,
very much to attend.
Pastor Moody is interested. Okay,
Possibly
possibly.
myself, yeah.
I will attend if there's less than 4. I mean, if I'm the 4th or less. Get my point, so. All right, so we should work with Julie to make arrangements, okay, for that.
Make a statement?
Oh, yes.
Yes. We have a number of others going from the ISD, our sisters and brothers around the county, and they're going to do some planning together so that you're all involved.
Yes,
I'm assuming that you're getting that information, but I want to make sure that you are.
yeah, and it will, so this participation in the delegation will require connecting up with that delegation.
Great. Thank you.
All right, public comment, agenda and/or non-agenda items. I think that, do you have
We
any
do have
cards?
2. Roberto Torres, come forward.
And if you can just state your name, and you have 3 minutes. If you'd like, Reverend Matias will give you a 1-minute warning.
It looks like that.
Okay. So, and we'll start whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Neal, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to actually speak to you on a topic that I first spoke to you with less than 1 week into my term. So I arrived in January the 20th to be specific, and the following Monday was my first address to this board. And at the time, if you recall, I actually issued a challenge, if you will. And it was a challenge to partner together, because the state of our children was at issue. And we at the Hispanic Center, as I had understood when I first arrived, was an organization that was very involved in education. And I came with a background in education. Since that time, I'm here to report that the relationship has been nothing but tremendous, if I can use any word. On June the 6th, the Hispanic Center had the first open house. and we opened our doors to the entire community. It was a way for me to introduce myself to the community, and you were there with us, and I appreciated that. On October the 15th, we had a college night through our SOUL program, and we held it at Cesar Chavez Elementary School. And we were able to serve more than 300 individuals that evening because you opened the doors to the Hispanic Center. On October the 15th, on October the 29th, we had a trunk or treat Halloween event at Cesar Chavez Elementary parking lot, where more than 500 children were able to be treated to a very safe and fun environment. Latino children in our community and members of our community came, and we had over 50 participants actually have their vehicles there. The first time that we had ever done that, and you partnered with us. On the 9th of October, we had a Hispanic Heritage Month celebration at Innovation Central. It was the first time that we celebrated the history of Hispanic heritage, joining the Hispanic Center and Grand Rapids Public Schools. We had over 800 students attend that event, and from the administration and the staff that were there, they were very pleased, so much so that we got a call from Union High School to repeat the event over there. So I think this is going to be something that we're going to take to many of the schools. On November the 11th, we will be celebrating Veterans Day. Today you opened up with the Pledge of Allegiance. To me, there's nothing more honorable than to remember and salute those individuals that serve to protect this country and give us liberty to be able to come together like this in assembly. And so on November the 11th, we will be at Union High School, the Hispanic Center. We'll salute Latino veterans, and we're going to have a luncheon. And I welcome all of you to join us there at 1 o'clock at Union High School. You see, when I came to you on that January evening, it was to say that the Hispanic Center stands to partner with you. We have challenges, certainly we do, but we've also seen where working together, we can certainly overcome many of the challenges. We have a program right now that is graduating 95% of our students that come into our program. 95% of our students are graduating high school. Those numbers aren't seen anywhere. Just 2 weeks ago, Dr. Sarita Brown, the president and founder of Excelencia in Education, came into this district. And as we had conversation with her, she recognized the importance of the SOUL program and the Hispanic Center. In fact, she recognized its importance that she reached out to all the college leadership, the presidents, and she urged them to continue to support the Hispanic Center and to support the SOUL program. You've recognized that, and we appreciate that. I come here because I come here to say I issued the challenge to partner. You've done that. And we've responded at the Hispanic Center by supporting your issues and supporting the opportunities that you're affording our community. So we say, diga sí, vota sí. We are saying that to our community. We're saying say yes to our children. We're saying say yes to what's happening, progress. We're saying say yes to the opportunities. Thank you. Roberto Torres, Director of the Hispanic Center of Western Michigan. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lupe Ramos, if you can come forward.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Es un placer para mí estar aquí esta noche para dirigir una palabra a la superintendente Weatherall Neal y a cada miembro de la mesa directiva de las escuelas de Grand Rapids. Y esta oportunidad es muy importante para mí porque ha estado como maestra y principal en esas escuelas por más de 30 años. En esos 30 años se ha logrado muchas cosas maravillosas en la comunidad y las escuelas de Grand Rapids. Como maestra, yo pude tocar la vida de muchos estudiantes y literalmente los estudiantes están en todo el mundo que fueron mis estudiantes. Y aquí en Grand Rapids tenemos muchos estudiantes que están haciendo buen trabajo en nuestra comunidad para mejorar sus vidas y las vidas de otros. Y por eso yo vengo aquí esta noche, porque yo como miembro de la mesa directiva de educación estatal. No nomás soy responsable de la educación y el progreso de nuestros hijos aquí en este área, pero sino yo soy responsable de la educación de cada uno de los estudiantes en el estado de Michigan. Así es que como yo fui maestra aquí en Grand Rapids, mi corazón está aquí y yo les pido a todos los padres que me están escuchando, a todo el público que me está escuchando, que mañana vayan a votar y que voten que sí, para que esta propuesta pase y nuestros hijos tengan más oportunidades escolares. Tenemos que seguir con el progreso, pensando positivamente en qué se puede hacer para nuestros hijos, para que ellos también tengan muchas oportunidades que tienen en otras escuelas en este área. Los hijos de nosotros de aquí de Grand Rapids también son importantes, son estudiantes que tienen habilidades. Si no fuera así, todos estos hijos que yo gradué y ayudé no fueran los ciudadanos que son ahora. So, I worked for the Grand Rapids Public Schools for 30 plus years. And so in those 30 plus years, I was telling my people that, or anybody that speaks Spanish, that it is valuable that tomorrow we go vote yes on the GRPS bond proposal, because it will give our students many more opportunities that they need to be productive citizens here in our area, here in our state, here in our country, and maybe around the world. And I have those students walking and talking. And so our schools do produce a lot of productive citizens, and I'm proud to say that I touch many, many lives. So I thank the superintendent and each and one of you as board members for what you're doing to continue the progress of our schools here in Grand Rapids. It was my bread and butter for 30 plus years, and that bread and butter was sweet because, like I say, there's many productive citizens here in our area that are making a difference. So let me finish with this quote. When Cesar E. Chavez, which I am so proud to be the chair for this committee in our city, because we're doing marvelous things, and it's a group of volunteers, that are doing this work. And so when Cesar was struggling to, and I know I'm over time, but I have to say this little story. Cesar E. Chavez was struggling to organize the farm workers. It was tough. There were strikes. They had to walk miles to make a point, and they were killed. Nobody cared. They didn't investigate. They had to work in very harsh working conditions, low pay, ugly housing, and so on and so on. And he said, "We are winning because ours is a revolution of mind and heart." How is that relevant in our struggles as educators? We are winning because ours is a revolution of mind and heart. So I say to the public, vote yes tomorrow for the GRPS bond proposal. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Superintendent comments.
Everything has been said.
All right. Start with Mr. Ross. Board member comments?
No comment.
President Fall.
I just want to
Dr.
express.
Fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, all days, okay. Dr. Fall, President. I'm still upset.
It's in your heart, I'm still
upset Lupe
president.
didn't call me Presidente. So.
I I want to thank all the community members and the GRPS family that took time out of their work schedule to work for this vote, to bring awareness to how important this vote is for the future of our school and for the future of our city. I know people put in hours beyond their tireless hours of working for the district, and many community members, and I want to express my deep appreciation and thanks for bringing that awareness, and looking forward to celebrating victory and a bright future for our district.
Yeah, just again, reiterating the CPR donation. I'm a certified lifeguard, and I had to learn how to use one of those, and so it's critical. It's going to be so important that our students are going to have that knowledge, and who knows, it'll be interesting to see the stories that come out of that in terms of people being prepared and being there and able to respond in emergency, and so that's so critical. We really appreciate that. And again, I think as a community, we're growing. We see our parents getting more involved. We see our teachers involved in our children's lives and wanting the best for them. We see a lot of good things happening, and so it's really important. Thank you.
Well, how do I top all those? I guess I can't. Just remember to vote tomorrow. Worked hard on this. It's critically important to us. I'm always impressed with meeting the community, walking door to door, or seeing them outside of whatever activity I'm in. And there's such a positive feeling right now in the city about the school district, and that hasn't been so before. It's been a long time since we've had that feeling, and I think it's wonderful that we are now getting that feeling back, and we're having a really positive outlook for our kids, and just hope that you will think of them and their future when you go to the polls tomorrow, and please vote yes. Thank you.
Moody.
No comment.
Ms. LeGrand?
Likewise.
Dr. Flores?
I think it's wonderful that we have these great donations given to us. Certainly very kind of the philanthropic community. Also, the fact that we live in a society where there's diversity of opinion and that we can respect one another's opinion. And hopefully we'll give everyone equal time in the future when they're expressing their opinion and not show any bias in that process. Thank you.
Couple of comments first. Board, I want to remind people that we do have to have we need to have a work session next Monday. So we will have a work session, so make sure that's on your calendar at 4:30. And actually, there's an important issue regarding priority schools that make sure you go back and read superintendent notes that were sent to you. Secondly, another congratulations to. Can we just do Dr. Ron? Does that work, or have you worked on it? See, you're going to have the same problem I have. So, I would also like to welcome our visitors. So, journalists, right? And after the meeting is over, Monica Scott in the back will be gladly to take questions from you also. So that way we can sneak out of here. So
She's the reporter.
And I hope that you saw tonight, regardless, I know that you're at Cornerstone, correct? So you may or may not be from Grand Rapids or follow school board meetings in your spare time, but I hope that what you saw tonight is a board and a superintendent and staff that care a lot about the district, and we're fairly passionate about what we do. And anyway, I think that that's a really important message that should be said about who Grand Rapids Public Schools are, is that we've all worked really hard. All of us have worked very hard to be here and to contribute to the success of our students. And so, I hope that that's something that you saw tonight. And finally, is I hope everybody gets out and exercises their vote. We need to support our children. And when people talk to me about the past, I say that if you go to this Central High School, you can tell that this is a community that invested a lot in the children of the community when you see the grand building. And so I hope that people make decisions tomorrow that is an investment in our children. Thanks. And meeting is adjourned.